Love bomb me. It started with fireworks, loud, bright, and beautiful. The kind you feel in your soul. You said I was your everything. You said no one had ever understood you like I did. You said you couldn't stop thinking about me, and I believed you because, well, who doesn't want to be someone's universe?
Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about being loved bombed by an avoidant.
Oof.
Happens a lot. People can come on very strong in the beginning. They will tell you all these wonderful things. They look great. They look amazing. They look secure. They look confident. Mm-hmm. And then 6 months later, they look like a completely different person.
And it's so confusing because you would have no indication that this person could have a hidden avoidant attachment style.
Yep.
You know, they come off as very secure in the beginning. Mm-hmm. They come off as very dependable. And sometimes they might even seem like the anxious one in the beginning. You're thinking, whoa, this is a little too much. This is a little overwhelming. I don't really know you too well.
Yep.
So let's see what these videos have in store.
We have two that we're going to look over.
You love bomb me. It started with fireworks, loud, bright, and beautiful. The kind you feel in your soul. You said I was your everything. You said no one had ever understood you like I did. You said you couldn't stop thinking about me, and I believed you because, well, who doesn't want to be someone's universe? Then suddenly my phone was a lifeline, a constant buzz of your validation. You're perfect, you're mine, where are you? I miss you, please. The fireworks turned into static, and then I realized that I was standing in the smoke. Every I want you and I miss you came with a string I didn't see at first. You pulled harder each time I tried to breathe. I stopped wearing the clothes I liked. I stopped laughing too loud. I stopped talking too much. I stopped being me. Because being me wasn't what you loved. You loved the version of me you built out of your words and in your head, your attention, your need to own something that looked like love. But now it's quiet. No more good morning texts, no more fireworks, just me, trying to remember that love isn't supposed to hurt when it leaves. And what we had wasn't really love at all, but man, it sure felt like it. I'm trying to do more of what y'all want, so let me know in the comments what y'all want me to start writing about. And if you want, you can follow my board. It's in my little profile thing at the top of my bio. And I'm asking different polls in there every day for what y'all want me to write about, what y'all want me to post. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Love you too. Talk later.
We'll talk soon. I think a lot of people can relate to what she's experiencing. And because of social media and the internet, this is a lot more understood. Mm-hmm. When we launched the channel a decade ago, nobody was talking about attachment theory. Mm-hmm. And they certainly weren't talking about it in regards to breakups. And we were screaming from the rooftops about mental health, breakups, and how they're all correlated. You have to understand that the avoidant is the way that they are because they were neglected. I don't care if they tell you they had a good childhood, they did not. You don't wind up avoidant if you did. You wind up secure if you have a good childhood. Okay? The avoidant was neglected in the first couple of years. They didn't have their needs met. They didn't bond well with their mother because their mom may have been working all the time. Maybe their mom had mental health issues, could be an alcoholic, a lot of different reasons. But what happened is because that baby didn't get so much unconditional love, now they're kind of projecting that fantasy, that those unmet needs onto you, the person they don't really know, the stranger. Right? And so it's perfect and wonderful because there's no demands there in the beginning. You're not putting any demands on them because you're kind of reserved and you're like, I don't know about this. Mm-hmm. But then once you get attached, all of a sudden all their feelings are different because now all the chemicals that had them excited about this fantasy love that baby didn't get, there's a correlation there, okay? And so that is part of the reason that they're love bombing you, is because they're finally fantasizing about this perfect person that is going to magically meet all their needs. But when they see that you have actual needs and that you put demands on them, responsibilities, obligations, that is what scares them and makes them run away.
Even if those obligations and expectations are reasonable within a romantic relationship.
Yes.
And that's the hard part.
Yes.
Right? Is you start to feel like you are asking too much. I love that she said that in this poem, is that feeling of, oh, am I being too demanding? Am I being too much? And starting to minimize yourself a lot to accommodate for somebody else's distance and make things more comfortable for them, or what you think would be more comfortable for them.
Yep.
When in reality, intimacy in general is probably scary for them, is intimidating for them.
Sure. And that all is reflected on their relationship with their parents. Mm-hmm. And we have another video here that kind of explains one of the other things that's so frustrating about when this happens.
Right. And I also want to say, I love that she's using poetry as a form of emotional expression through this, because I think this really exemplified how love bombing can impact a person. Just that feeling of being strung along and having hope in a relationship to just be let down and to see it not really go anywhere, and then to realize that there really wasn't any substance beneath it. You feel duped.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I'm really grateful that she's putting that into words and other people are able to relate to it. Okay, so let's watch this other video.
Men are so funny because it's always the ones that are like, whoa, I'm not ready for a relationship, or like, we're moving too fast, like, I'm not there yet. Babes, you were setting the pace. That was all you, actually. You got us here. I'm confused.
Okay, so it's not just men, all right? It's not just men, but this is a lot of what avoidants do. They come on very strong. They say, I want to marry you. I want to have kids with you. I want a family with you. I've never felt this way before. You're hearing this 2 months into the relationship. And then you're like, okay, and you're trying to slow this pace down. And then you're finally coming along to their speed, and then they pull that.
Yeah.
You are setting the pace. This is everything that you said you wanted. Now when I'm saying yes, you're running away and saying I'm not ready for a relationship.
And I can confirm this dynamic can happen regardless of the gender here. You know, we see this in all sorts of people. It really has more to do with attachment style than anything else.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's true. Avoidants can tend to bite off a lot more than they can chew. People with avoidant attachment styles, they still crave connection. They still sometimes have hopes and dreams of marriage and a family and the white picket fence and all of these things, right? But it's the reality of the situation. It's the vulnerability it takes. It's the being real with somebody else and being seen and being known that becomes scary. Wait, what do you mean I actually have to live with that person? Wait, what do you mean? Like they have to see me brushing my teeth before bed? That's so personal. That's so private.
They want a toothbrush at my house.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, honestly, even small things like that can make them feel like trapped. I had a client recently that left a passport at their avoidant partner's home, and that overwhelmed the avoidant.
Really?
The idea of, oh my gosh, we're going to go on vacations together felt like pressure to them. Right? So what's behind that? Responsibilities, obligations, not having that complete freedom and autonomy to live without thinking about another person's needs.
Right.
Because they didn't get their needs met.
Well, and ultimately because of the fear of being hurt. You know, what if I do trust this person and I get let down? So they tend to also quit before they get fired, is the phrase. You know, so I could see that coming on really strong, excited about this relationship because you don't know the other person yet. Project. And then once you get to know that person, wait a minute, this is going way too fast. You know, I can't give you everything that you want, even though you had led that person on into believing that you could. So it can be really frustrating. And I could see her anger and her sassiness in this video.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people can relate.
Oh, yeah.
They're frustrated because it's like, this is what you wanted, and now you say you can't do it.
Right.
Yeah, so it is very frustrating. And this is why we always tell you got to take your time to get to know people, a solid year. You have to be responsible for yourself. Even though you can get caught up in the emotions and it feels so good and it's like a new drug, you got to be responsible for protecting yourself.
Right? And you both set the pace. I know she was saying, well, you set the pace here, honey, or whatever it was, but both of you are setting the pace. So you can say, if you do find somebody coming on too strong and you're thinking to yourself, man, this person's really into me, I like this person, but having some of those conversations of, okay, let's slow this down. Let's think about what we're talking about here a little bit more. Let's get to know each other and have fun. So
Exactly. Yes. All right. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. And of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.